Hello, welcome to our webinar. We're just about to get started. Thank you so much for taking the time out and joining us this evening.
Well, welcome to our webinar tonight. We preview the Arizona Guest Ranch Tour, April 30th to May 4th, 2019. Tonight's webinar is hosted by Kevin and Marianne, and good evening. If you've been with us before, thank you so much. And if you're here for the first time, welcome. And we'll, of course, get to this fabulous and fun destination. Tucson, Arizona is a beautiful place, a great part of the American Southwest, often in the shadow of the Phoenix, Scottsdale area, but there's really no reason for it. Tucson is a great destination. But let's start off with saying good evening and welcome to the owner and founder of the Women's Travel Club, Marianne Southall.
Hello, thank you so much for joining us. I can't wait to get started on everything about this great destination. I actually love Arizona and I love this guest ranch. But before we get to that, we are just going to go over very quickly a little bit about the Women's Travel Club itself. We do this at the beginning of all the webinars, so if you've joined us for a webinar before, I'm really sorry. We will quickly go through it. If you have not, we just want to tell you a little bit about the Women's Travel Club and how that works, and then we will get into all the information about this great guest ranch in Arizona.
And just take a little moment to introduce myself. I'm Kevin Hilberdink, and I work for the Women's Travel Club in creative and marketing. And once again, it's great to be alongside Marianne. So the driving principle, or one of the core principles of the Women's Travel Club is, of course, small group tours. But let's maybe back up a little bit. Let's start off, Marianne, with how you got your start in travel.
I was a travel agent for a number of years. Just like many agents, I had a storefront agency, sold a lot of all-inclusive type vacations, a lot of cruises, things like that. But my heart was more in destinations that you could go to and actually explore that destination. So more in tourist type of travel. Also, through doing a lot of networking events, I would find that there were ladies that wanted to travel. They had bucket lists, they had destinations they desperately wanted to see. What was holding them back from doing this travel was the fact that they didn't have somebody to go with. They didn't have a partner, they didn't have just somebody that would travel with them to the destinations, and they didn't necessarily want to go on a tour group with 40 other people, a lot of them couples paired off, and they were kind of like, you know, this odd man out on the tour. And so I thought, there has to be a better way. There has to be a way to make these tours for these ladies to enjoy and see these destinations. So there were a few criteria that I came up with that were important to making the Women's Travel Club and the tours that we have for the Women's Travel Club.
Small group tours, probably the if you want to call it, the driving force of really what the Women's Travel Club is all about.
Yes, I wanted the tours to be small enough that you felt like you were traveling with just a group of friends, and that you could do hands-on activities and experience things in destinations that you couldn't do with a big, huge group. I didn't want it to be another bus tour of 40 people lining up and getting on and off the bus to see things, or just watching things from a bus window. I wanted to have activities and things in the destinations that the ladies could do and feel immersed in that destination.
So do you find in your small group tours there's a real sense of kinship, fellowship, a really friendly dynamic?
Yes, because the tours are limited to 16 ladies per tour. And with that in mind, these ladies get to know each other quite well, and it very quickly just feels like you are traveling with a group of friends.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And of course, women-only tours.
Yes. We think there's a certain dynamic in traveling with a group of women. It's very different to travel with just a group of women than it is to travel with a group with couples or a group of mixed men and women.
Yeah, I agree. Get rid of the men. Get them out of the picture.
The kinship and friendship developed by just the group of women is great. And all our tours, all our departures are women only. So you don't have to search through our departures and get interested in one and be like, oh wait, this is a co-ed departure. They are all women only departures.
You in the pictures here, I love the top picture. It's one of my favorite pictures from the of the many tours of the Women's Travel Club. But you get a lot of exclusive activities, and the nice thing about them is they're often or almost all the time very culturally representative of the area you're touring.
Yes, the small group, having that 16 ladies or less, allows us to do a lot of things in destination that you couldn't do with a big group. So the picture from the top is a...
Sorry about that.
I can't make it stop.
Things do happen during a live webinar. Life doesn't stop, unfortunately.
That is from our Japan tour, and that was a Geisha Makeover. So it is, we spent the day getting made over as geishas from head to toe, including the makeup, the wigs, everything. And then they took us out into the street and we got to wander around the street. We had a big photo shoot. They took pictures of us in the street, took pictures of us together. It was so much fun. And these ladies have the keepsake of the pictures forever. We also do we do a lot of tastings. We do a lot of culinary events, cooking classes. Learning to almost every destination has food that's very individualized to that destination. So learn how to cook those meals and also other activities that are very much to that destination.
Right. Important part of any tour, of course, are the accommodations. I know any trip I've ever been on, I mean, you have to have suitable accommodations. Now, of course, it varies. Each country, each region has different accommodation classes. But what can you tell us about the type of accommodations that are on the typical tour, and how do things work in terms of single or double occupancy? What are the options for the women on your tours?
Okay, so accommodations, we try and have accommodations that are distinctive to the destination. So rather than having, just staying in a chain that is like all over the world, and once you're in the hotel room, it looks like every other hotel room anywhere, we try and have boutique type accommodations throughout the tour. Usually, a moderate to higher class accommodation. So, a 4-star type of accommodation. We don't want to break the bank. We don't want everything to be luxury, and that, is wonderful and amazing, but nobody can afford to actually go on the tour. So we try and keep the accommodation kind of higher end, very comfortable, very nice accommodation without having it be too high end. And also if it can match the destination. So if we're somewhere in Europe and we can have a castle stay kind of mixed in with some nice boutique type of accommodation, that works really well. A ryokan in Japan, or obviously a lot of tented lodges in Africa, that type of thing. Just something that's very, very distinctive to the destination we are in. For single and double, we always offer a choice of single accommodation or double accommodation. Obviously, single accommodation is going to be more expensive because a large part of the cost of a tour is made up by the accommodation cost. And when you're getting a single accommodation, you're paying basically twice as much for that accommodation cost as somebody that's in a double accommodation. However, if you come to us as a single person and want a double accommodation, we will match you with a roommate. We take a little bit of criteria, just kind of sleeping patterns, likes and dislikes, and match you with what we think is the best person on the tour to match you with. And that will save you on the price of the single accommodation. So it's a nice added bonus of having an all female tour, all women tour.
For sure. So let's, I'll let you introduce some of the tour leaders that are on the Women's Travel Club tours.
Yes, every tour has a tour leader on it. These are basically like your concierge of your tour. They're there to make sure everything runs smoothly. And to help with anything. You will also have local English-speaking tour guides. The tour guides are the in-destination people that know the area you're visiting. They can teach you the history, teach you about what you're seeing, and really know what we're seeing and looking at. Where the tour leader is more along to make sure everything else runs smoothly and to be a liaison if needed between the ladies in the tour and the supplier. So we'll go through some of the tour guides we have for the Women's Travel Club. Up on the screen right now is Debbie, and Debbie is actually also in the office. She's pretty much my right hand for everything. So if you've done any tours with the Women's Travel Club, done any correspondence with us, a lot of times you're going to connect with Debbie. And she is a very active tour leader. Right now she is in Morocco, just finishing up that tour. She does a lot of city tours, a lot of Europe, a lot of our cruises. That is where you'll find Debbie. This is Melissa. Melissa is a great tour leader. She does usually a couple tours a year, more of the active kind of adventurous type of tours. She is very adventurous herself, and you can see from her picture there with the great white shark behind her. This is Irene. Irene does more city tours, kind of North American short getaways, those type of tours. This is Kirsten. Kirsten is actually a veterinarian in her day job, but still manages to fit in a few tours for us every year. She is a great tour leader, very outgoing, very good leader, and she is equally as at home in, say, Africa as she would be in a city in Europe. And this is myself. I do a few tours a year when I can actually get out of the office and get away. I love anything Africa, anything to do with nature. You can see here I'm on an ATV tour in Africa with a group of ladies. Everybody's a little unsure about the whole ATV thing to start with. By the end, everybody loved that tour. These are some of the destinations we have coming up for 2019. As you can see, there's a great diversity of destinations. We try every year we obviously can't do everywhere, but we try to get really good selection. Some years we have repeat tours to really popular destinations, but every year we try to have something a little different, a little interesting.
Well, thank you for all that great detail on what the Women's Travel Club does and what it has to offer. But let's now get to, I guess, the real reason we're here tonight and our Arizona Guest Ranch tour in April of 2019. A really, really fun destination in Tucson, Arizona, and a great guest ranch in the Tanque Verde.
Yes, this is a particular tour that I'm very excited to do. We did preview this tour last year and loved it. So we kind of have some really good firsthand experience to tell you about. Arizona is beautiful in the April-May time of year.
Perfect time to go.
Perfect time. It's kind of a shoulder season in that you're not hitting summer when kids are out of school, and it can be busy for that time, but it's also very hot in Arizona. And winter, it can also be busy because a lot of snowbirds from Canada are heading down to take advantage of the great weather. So heading into April, May, you're getting that really, really beautiful weather. It's just, it's dry a lot, so you don't have to worry about rain, but you're really getting, nice weather without being too hot. So the tour is going to start in Tucson, which is the heart of the American Southwest. Tucson is set in a flat valley hemmed by the Snaggletooth Mountains of the swarths of Saguaro. It smoothly blends American Indian, Spanish, Mexican, and Anglo traditions. The Sonoran Desert is a beautiful setting and a perfect location for a guest ranch getaway.
Yeah, really neat thing about Tucson is almost any direction you look at, you see foothills and mountains, and they're surprisingly green for the desert. It really is a pretty place.
That was my first when we were going to the desert. I've been to deserts. The Sahara Desert, talking Morocco. Sahara Desert is just sand dunes as far as you can see. There's not an ounce of vegetation. The Southwest Desert in the US is a lot of vegetation. It's actually quite astounding and a totally different landscape than other deserts. So our home for the next 4 nights is going to be the Tanque Verde Guest Ranch. Tanque Verde Ranch is one of America's old-time cattle and guest ranches. Tanque Verde is Spanish for green tank or green pool, and now designates all of the area east of Tucson, rising into the Rincon Mountains. Heavily watered and with substantial artesian pressure, this location is an ideal desert watering hole. Originally, it was settled by the Pima Indians in the 1600s near the Cottonwood Grove. And the present-day ranch has 640 acres and also leases from the U.S. Forest Service approximately 60,000 acres for its cattle operation. Guests today can experience its varied history with miles of exciting horse trails which wind their way through desert and mountain scenery, where once silent Apaches waited in ambush to surprise guerrilla cowboys. 4 tennis courts now lie in neat formation along the towering Saguaro and Ocotillo, and the bright swimming pool sparkles in the Arizona sun, where Converse's Mexican vaqueros once roped bawling steers. The ranch's 150-plus horses are rounded up in the old, rough-hewn mesquite coral fence for the morning ride, where both Carrillo and Converse would gather their cattle for the drive to the Tucson market. Today's guests can kick off their dusty boots and gaze into the spectacular Arizona sunset, just as earlier cowboys did after a long day's ride.
Yeah, the grounds of this place are really spectacular. It's somewhat understated in terms of architecture, very much old West, or what I would imagine to be Old West. But the rooms, literally, you open up your room door and you are looking at the foothills, and you can simply sit just outside. Most of the rooms have a little patio area right by your door, and you can sit just steps from your door and see wildlife. It really is a beautiful place.
So you're going to be met at the airport and transferred to one of the most distinctive resorts in Tucson. Check-in is anytime after 2 p.m., but don't worry, if you arrive earlier, the resort will store your luggage while you explore and get some lunch. The day is yours at leisure to explore the ranch and the beautiful surroundings. These pictures bring back memories.
Yeah, they sure do.
Yeah, it's just, oh, it's a lovely place. The food. Oh, the food.
Food is outstanding.
In the evening, we'll meet for a quick welcome meeting before dinner. And after, we'll have amazing award-winning chef-prepared dinner. Why not gather in the Doghouse Saloon for a nightcap and get acquainted? And that is an actual picture of our drinks from the Doghouse Saloon.
Yeah, if you do enjoy a libation or two, they actually make a prickly pear margarita, which is outstanding.
That's the pink one in the picture.
Yeah, and that was my drink. The staff is fantastic. And the Doghouse is a fun place in the evening to meet some of the other guests who come from all over the world. When we were able to preview the resort, primarily the guests were from the UK. A few guests from Europe and another guest from Canada. But it seems this resort's actually quite popular with people from Europe and the UK that are looking to experience the American Southwest, and they go to the full extremes, wearing the Western wear and even chaps and spurs. But it's a very nice place to unwind and meet some new people, and the bartenders and the staff are wonderful.
Yes, we seem to miss out on the dress code. You must have a plaid shirt and blue jeans.
Yeah, cowboy hat too. Yeah.
Okay, so the next morning we're going to start with our breakfast, and then we are going to learn a bit about the desert that surrounds us. We're going to join one of the ranch naturalists to learn about edible and medicinal plants from the Sonoran Desert. In addition, we'll explore cultural connections of some of these plants and the history of what makes the desert tick. The prickly pear cactus, mesquite tree, and saguaro cactus are just a few of the fascinating desert plants that are used by locals. We'll enjoy the rest of the morning and early afternoon at your leisure to take part in the ranch's many activities or lounge by the pool. And there are so many activities, and everything is basically included in this. So, when we say, at your leisure, you have so many choices. Either just go relax at the pool, or there's, so many things you can do.
Yeah, they also have a full staff of very expert guides that will take you on hikes. I was able to go with a guide and do a mountain bike ride. Now, that may not be for everyone, but with that said, what I loved about this resort was they actually have a test course that they'll take you a few laps on and gauge your riding ability. And then the guide will take you out. They have a few different runs, a few different trails based on ability level. And fortunately, I was able to grade fairly well on my test. I got to go on a fairly strenuous track, but they'll tailor it to your riding ability. We'll probably touch on this a little bit later in the webinar, but they also do the same for the horseback riding as well. So they're very proactive on safety. They want their guests to be comfortable. They want to tailor your experience to your abilities and not put you in a position where you feel unsafe or a little bit overwhelmed by the terrain or the difficulty level.
Yes, and in fact, that evening we're going to head out for a sunset ride, where we get to take in the beauty of the Sonoran Desert by sunset on horseback. We're going to climb the mountain trails as we take an extraordinary view filled by the endless sky, towering cacti, and a glimpse of various wildlife encounters. So, of course, you're wondering about horse riding abilities. Mm-hmm. This is actually suitable no matter what your ability. If you're a good rider, if you've never been on a horse before. This ride itself will be a nice, relaxed, kind of walking ride to actually enjoy your surroundings. If you've never ridden before and you're a little bit worried, there will be plenty of time before the ride to even get in some lessons, which are included. So if you want, a lesson to kind of start off and then feel a little bit more comfortable,
but these horses are like the country doctor. They've seen a little bit of everything.
Yes.
They've seen every type of rider, expert. to completely nervous, and the horses pretty much.
Oh yes, and the wranglers there, which is what you call everybody that works with the horses, or the
exceptional
wranglers.
Expertise.
Yes, they're wonderful. They will make sure you're comfortable. If you are a good rider, you will enjoy this too. I've had horses for years. I've ridden. I'm very comfortable, and I thoroughly enjoyed this. They cater to everybody, and they will, you know, if you're a good rider, they do a little bit of a loping test, which is, you know, if you're a rider at all, it's not an issue. And then you can go on the loping rides, which are even a little bit more fun when they take you through washes and such, and you really get to open up. So it's just for everybody. This evening, we're in for a great treat with an authentic cowboy cookout. We're going to head down to the Cottonwood Grove for a down-home ranch barbecue experience. Fill your plate with the chef's choices of grilled meats, including ribs and steaks, homemade cornbread, fresh fruit, and more while listening to live music. We get to take a seat fireside and join other guests as you take the moment to savor all the great food, authentic entertainment, good company, and incredible scenery. Just because you're at a barbecue doesn't mean your sweet tooth won't be satisfied. A big dessert table hosts a variety of freshly baked sweets to suit any craving.
Yeah, just a wonderful night. Pictures will not do the Grove justice. Bistro lights strung through the cottonwood trees, and the night we were able to be there, the performer was wonderfully interactive with all the guests. He would take requests. He didn't play all of them. he would take requests. He loved to interact with people, find out where people were from. Just a great night, and literally almost had a hard time walking away. It was so much food. It was a great night.
Yeah. Okay, on to the next morning. So at the ranch, the early riser gets a horse, not to mention the blueberry pancakes. The breakfast ride is a true highlight of the week. This unforgettable ride passes towering cacti and climbs rolling hills as you make your way to the old homestead. Upon reaching your destination, indulge in a freshly cooked breakfast prepared right before your eyes. Their famous blueberry pancakes, ranch-style eggs, bacon, orange juice, and more await your grumbling stomach. I hope everybody's eaten before the webinar, because you might get a little hungry after this.
Great food.
Take a seat fireside while you enjoy great company and the beautiful scenery. Both walking and loping options are available on the breakfast ride. The lope ride will depart shortly before the walk ride, and both rides meet at the old homestead for breakfast. This was really, really cool kind of tour. We saw all kinds of wildlife on the way up. I have to tell you, two of the wildlife we saw, not to scare anybody, there was a snake that we took a wide berth around, and a tarantula that we walked over, and the horses never batted an eye. So I can tell you, these horses are very, very accustomed to everything out there. And the breakfast is exceptional, and it's so nice to be out there in the morning and just experiencing the desert and the views. I know there are other options, so if you're not a rider and you still want to take advantage of all of there is at the ranch besides riding, not a problem, because Kevin didn't ride.
No, I took a mountain bike up and met the horse group for this breakfast. The other thing too, if you're wondering about temperatures this time of year, first thing in the morning, you'll probably be looking at 14 to 17 degrees Celsius, or in the 60s if you prefer Fahrenheit. Probably by 1 or 2 in the afternoon, you're going to be in the 30s or well into the 80s. It is true when they say it is a dry heat. 85 in Arizona is very comfortable. 90 in Arizona is very comfortable. When we were there, the temperature topped out at 112 or 45 degrees Celsius. and even that was surprisingly tolerable.
Okay, we are on to something I am very excited for. So after the breakfast ride, we're gonna have some time to relax at the ranch, and then we are on to the Salsa Margarita Challenge. This is a heated competition where we're gonna split into teams and work together to create either the best salsa and margarita. It's this activity participants, we're going to mix drinks, prepare salsa, and draft a team sales pitch. So select ingredients to make your final product unique and delicious. Teams are judged not only on the taste and presentation, but also on the marketing of their creations. Your salsa dancing shoes aren't required, but may be just the deal breaker for the judges to give you a higher rating. The winning team will earn bragging rights and receive a Tanque Verde Ranch apron for winning.
Sounds delicious.
I know, like, how can that go wrong? We get to make up a margarita and get to make up a salsa.
Yeah.
I think that will be so much fun. Just from past Women's Travel Club kind of culinary events, they're always so much fun. Everybody, it just gets really into it. And the little bit of competition added to it will make this a really, really good event. So we're on to our fourth day. So grab your cowboy boots and hat. We're going on a half-day mountain adventure ride through the desert. Venture deep into the Rincon Mountains with your favorite horse. Because by this point you will have kind of bonded with a horse, and that will be the horse you will want for every ride we go do. I take in the beautiful scenery and broad wildlife of the Sonoran Desert on our way. With significant elevation changes, narrow trails, this is a unique way to explore the desert on horseback. We'll bring a packed breakfast on this ride, and it's an opportunity to live like the cowgirls of the Old West. We'll be back by high noon. The mountain adventure ride is a great chance to take memorable photos or enjoy the sights of Tucson, the Tucson area has to offer.
Yeah, if anyone at all has had interest in the Southwest or Arizona or the, I guess, Wild West lifestyle, this is certainly the place to do it.
The rest of the day is going to be at your leisure on the ranch. You might want to fit in a spa appointment, relax and rejuvenate after your whole week of riding.
Full service spa for sure.
Yeah, we did definitely take advantage of the spa when we were there, and it was excellent. Very, very well looked after, I can tell you that. So tonight it's time to say goodbye. We're going to have a farewell dinner with our new friends. It's always hard at the end of a tour since we make so many fabulous friends along the way. Sharing travel is a very bonding experience, and we go home with great memories of our time together. Let's just go over everything that is included in the tour.
Well, we start off with 4 nights, deluxe accommodations, and they truly are deluxe at Tanque Verde.
Oh, the rooms were just beautiful, very authentic, very to the destination, and well appointed, quite comfortable.
3 meals per day, and the food is outstanding.
The horseback trail riding.
Horseback riding lessons.
That breakfast ride.
The cowboy cookout in the Cottonwood Grove, that's for sure a highlight of the trip.
Oh, what I am probably most looking forward to is the Salsa Margarita Challenge.
And food and pharmacy of the Desert Walk.
The Sunset Ride.
And then there are so many other optional activities, mountain biking, which I was able to take advantage of, yoga and wellness activities, arts and crafts, tennis, and more. It's as active or as relaxed as you want to make it.
The mountain adventure ride.
And your round trip airport transfers, getting you to and from the Tanque Verde Ranch.
And of course, your Women's Travel Club tour leader. Here are a few things that the Women's Travel Club can help with, just in case you need some add-ons to your tour. So definitely once you book the tour, we can help with a few other things that you might want along the way. So pre or post night accommodations. If the 4 nights at the ranch isn't enough and you want a few extra, we can definitely add it in for you. Pre or post tours or extended stays. So if you want to maybe see a little bit more of Tucson while you're there, we can help with that. Flight assistance booking from wherever your closest departure airport is. We can help you book your flights to get to Tucson. For every tour, once the tour is guaranteed, we have a private Facebook group. So on Facebook, we have a group that only the ladies on the tour are part of. It gives you an opportunity to kind of meet and chat and talk to the ladies ahead of time. They're going on the tour, and once you get home from the tour, it gives you an opportunity to share photos and anything from the tour. We will match you for a roommate. So if you are coming as a solo traveler, which I can tell you most ladies do come as solo travelers for our tours and want to be matched with roommates, so we can match you with somebody. And tour notes. Around final payment time, we send out something called tour notes. This just gives you a list of everything you need to know about the tour and about the destination we're going to. So it includes everything from a packing list to currency or tipping criteria, things like that that you might need to know for the tour coming up. So for this tour, we have some great pricing considering everything is included in this tour. All your accommodation, all your activities, all your meals are included. The double occupancy rate in Canadian is $2,399. For our US ladies, that's going to equal out to, with exchange, about $1,850 US. Single occupancy, if you would like your own room, we have a really good rate for the single occupancy at $2,899, approximately $2,300 US. The deposit's going to be $500 Canadian, with final payment being due on February 15th. At this point, we will open up the questions. If anybody has any questions, there is a little icon that you can raise your hand if you have a question, and we will open up your microphone. If you you can also send us questions. I don't see. There we go. So just if you have a question, you can raise your hand, and we'll open up the microphone. Everybody will be able to hear you ask your question, or you can type in the question too if you want, if you don't have a microphone.
And once again, I'd like to thank everyone for their attendance and attention tonight.
Okay, it does not appear that we have any questions. If you do think of something you want to ask, absolutely please send us a message. You can send an email to info@womens-travel-club.com. From the website, you can send a message via chat, or there's a link to get to the email. Oh, wait, we have a question from Stephanie. Let's just open it. We're going to open up your microphone, Stephanie, and you can ask your question. Oh, you are muted by yourself, Stephanie. Okay, she typed in the question. Do you currently have anyone signed up for the tour? Yes, we have a couple ladies signed up for the tour right now. We don't have enough to guarantee this tour yet, but we are getting interest, and we do have a couple ladies signed up. Any other questions? Okay, I don't see any other questions. If somebody wants to send us a question via email, for sure, do that, or you can give us a call. The toll-free number is 1-844-749-0725. Also on the website, we want to thank everybody. Oh, wait. Oh, Lydia's got a question.
Hi, Lydia.
Hi, Lydia.
And Lydia's asking what, oh, sorry. Go ahead if your mic's working.
That's okay. I just had a question about the typical age range of people that would go on this type of a tour.
Yep.
Hi, Lydia. Most of the ladies that come on tours with us are somewhere around retirement age. So we are going to look at ladies between about 50 and about 65. We do get younger and older on any tour, but that's going to be kind of the age group that makes up the core of the ladies on the tour.
Great, thank you.
No problem.
Thanks, Lydia.
Okay, so it doesn't look like we have any more questions. We'll close the webinar for now, but definitely if you think of any questions, let us know.